Greetings, YouTubers. I've got low flow and erratic temperature control on my Glacier Bay shower faucet. It's time to turn off the water, dig in, and see what's going on with this thing.
To get to the valve, we've got to take the handle off and then the fascia cover. So we start by popping this little inspection plug out. So 3/16 undoes it for me, but it feels like a little loose. Okay, there are these adjustment screws. I think I'm going to start by backing those all the way out if I can get to this one. I'm going to check the fascia ring. I might carve out that little piece of tile. What I usually find in this case is once you've gotten all the way through the tile on the top and the bottom and you've created a bit of a notch down here, you've got enough strain relief just to pop the tile out of place, hopefully. Just like that. There you go. Nice little clean cut. There we go. Now I have full access to that hex key. And now we'll proceed to the next step. I'm gonna go ahead and hop in here and see what happens if I start adjusting these screws. I am gonna make a mark with a grease pencil to indicate where this was before I started. Oh, it's pretty stiff. Okay, the whole assembly is turning, so that's good to know. Never mind about counting turns, I suppose. All right, got some water leaking. I'm gonna get a towel in there so I don't create a bigger problem. There we go. I don't know how good that's gonna do, but at least I tried. Okay. I'm also keeping a hand on here because I don't want to lose this into the abyss. Screwdriver in my pocket. Okay. Quite a bit of water. Drain in there. I'll turn the light on in a second. Alright, well, the first thing I'm noticing is there's a lot of calcification on this thing. That could be indicative of what's gotten into the rest of this mechanism. So I think I'm going to continue to disassemble and see what I find. Looking in the bore, there's some of the same stuff. It doesn't look terrible, but I think I want to get this whole assembly out and see what the passageways look like inside there. So, looks like just and there's the valve assembly. So that fascia came off pretty easy. What am I working with here? There's some flats on this. I want to see if I can carefully get some, like a slotted wrench on there. All right, I've got my adjustable pliers here, being very gentle on this. Okay, it's not too bad. Quarter turn, I don't see any water coming out yet. Let's see, a little bit. Let me grab my towel. Come out of this little fella. Okay. Here comes the geyser. Okay. That's just a trim ring of some sort, or a... Oh, it looks like it holds the valve in place. Okay. Next, the valve assembly. Looks like just a slight bit of wiggling and pulling, and we're good. Here comes the cold water. There's a gasket around there that I'll probably put a little bit of plumber's lubricant on. I suspect that this might be my problem. I don't care about the water all of a sudden. I just want to make sure I don't drop this. Okay. Cold side is not as bad as the hot side. Now this is interesting. I see more of like a gap around. So that's interesting. If this will focus. This on the right is the hot water side, and on the left is the cold water side. And, you know, the set screws are about at the identical location, but there's a clear gap between this plunger and the housing versus this side where you've got, I mean, it is seated against there. I might disassemble and see if I can figure out what's going on there. All right, I've decided to make a descaling mixture. So I'm going to start with equal parts vinegar and distilled water. This is a 2-cup measuring cup. So go to the big red line there. Also use, household vinegar Don't use your cooking vinegar unless you want your wife to be mad at you. Happy wife, happy life. And then I've got some distilled water here. I'm just kidding about the vinegar. You can use whatever you want, but I'm not gonna get in trouble today. Okay, equal parts, and I'm gonna go ahead and heat it because it seems to me that descaling works best when it's hot. I don't want to be too hot though because I do have plastic parts I'm gonna soak in this. So we'll go ahead and fire that off and come back to it in a moment. All right, I'm gonna drop my scaly pieces into the old yucky cup. Yes, that does say yucky. Those are all the toilet cleaning parts and things go. This thing, I was messing with it. You shake it, and there's a little piston that goes back and forth, and it seems just fine. I'm gonna hold off on descaling that. Plus, it's plastic. I don't want to wreck it. So we're gonna put this vinegar mixture down in there and let it soak for 15 minutes or so. Might get a wire brush and clean it off a little bit. In the meantime, I'm gonna see if I can find some pipe cleaners and work the same magic in a spray bottle on the valve itself. Okay, while I was messing with these, I accidentally discovered that that cold side was coming out even further, and then I realized that that piston just comes straight out. So there's a spring in there, and it seems to me, you can see that action, it's pretty rough. I'm gonna throw this back in the descaler, but the hot side came right apart as well. And now it moves, I mean, I can't call that freely, but it moves. So I'm gonna descale these again and spend some time polishing that surface, and that might help. Okay, about 10 minutes have gone by, and I'm just gonna see if I can get some of the asperities off the surface of this plunger, the piston. I've got some silicone faucet grease here. I may consider putting a little dab on that and seeing if that improves the action. But in the time that I was waiting for this to soak, I went upstairs to the shower valve and I ran pipe cleaner through the orifices and they all seemed fine. But then I also got a better sense of how this thing operates. And what is really supposed to happen, this screws into each side as you saw them come out. This piston is supposed to ride inside this race, and the water supply comes in from the housing at this piston, and the spring force is balanced by the position of this screw. So if this was jammed in the open position on the hot side, that tells me that the shower head was seeing maximum hot water all the time. And the only way you could ever get any balance out of the handle is to compensate with the cold side. And the cold side was, had limited motion as it was. So I suspect that this might be the root of all my problems. I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble without doing any additional repairs or cleanup. I'm gonna see if this fixes the problem. Clean those up. Try to get in here carefully. Don't drop it. All right. Now these were just, if you recall, they were only holding on with screwdriver pressure, so I'm going to be very ginger with this. I can't even really get purchase on it, so I guess it's going back in with the screwdriver. Okay, we're going to make sure we test that for leaks before we finish. The other side's a little harder to get to. Don't drop it. Pistons in. That came free. Okay, I was ever so gingerly able to get that taken care of. I got a 3/4 inch open end in there and just got a little turn on it. Now this assembly has to go in, and I think it just popped into place. Yep, essentially like that. And this goes over it. Whatever I've done has caused water to drip on me. Okay, put this trim ring on, put the handle on, and turn it to the off position. All right, I'm going to turn the water back on and check for leaks before we proceed. Okay, the water's back on and there don't appear to be any signs of leaks. I'm going to leave that access cover off for a good 20 minutes or so to check, but let's just check function and see what we've got. I'm on full hot, got good flow. Going down to cold, no change. Full cold, there's full cold, and there's full hot. Yeah, sweet. All right, so flow seems to be working okay. All right, I got hot water now. And the way this should work, obviously, go to halfway, it should get cool water. Oh, it works. That should be cold. Oh my gosh. Back to full hot. Oh man, okay, cool. All right, I'm just gonna leave that like that for 20 minutes or so, come back and check for leaks, and then I'll button it up and we can do a quick summary. All right, so where does that leave us? This Glacier Bay shower faucet is not all bad. This isn't really a manufacturing problem. It looks to be more like a Southern California hard water problem. I've seen a lot of bad reviews on this faucet on the internet, and I just have to say, this seems like more like a maintenance issue than anything. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear your comments down below about how I could have done it better, which I'm sure a lot of you have those ideas, and thanks again for watching.